When I first found out about the water leak, I was actually in Ripley working for the day, and it was on Twitter. I'd just checked briefly, and there was a proclamation from Governor Tomblin that said, "Do not use the water in Charleston."
I was live on the air when the governor's first tweet went out, basically announcing that this had happened.
I was over at the Capitol, and I remember coming back and smelling something in the air, but not really thinking anything of it.
We'd gotten a little more information. We'd confirmed that yes, this came from the governor's office, and it is a do not use order, which is different than a boil water advisory, which is, I think, what a lot of people maybe wondered at first. Is this just a boil water advisory? We get those all the time. And it quickly became clear this was not a boil water advisory. This was something much more serious.
No one had any clue. Surprising enough, the instinct didn't kick in for everyone in that area immediately, but I remember coming back to the station, and a few hours later we found out, and then West Virginia American Water, and the governor's office issued the do not use notice, or the ban on using using the water for anything except to flush the toilet or to put out fires.
Seeing the infrastructure come into place basically for emergency water rationing was interesting, not only because no one was prepared for it, but also trying to fathom what it was like to be completely cut off, to not have an appropriate supply of drinking water, or to only have to be able to shower in a public space every couple of days if you're lucky.
Spill occurs on the Elk River. The Elk River is a water source for that area because it's so clean, right? And it is surrounded by a lot of dirty water. I mean, the cost of treating the Kanawha River for drinking water is exorbitant. I mean, it's so dirty you can't afford to. But the Elk River is a very clean river, one of the cleanest in the East, actually. And so you see how dependent then we have become as a state on our few really clean, productive water sources like the Elk River. And as we lose rivers and their value of drinking water and become dependent on very few, then we become very susceptible to something that would seem like to be a localized event. And instead, that localized event, it touched a third of the state, the residents.
I was lucky. I had water. But that meant I was sort of ground zero for people who needed showers, who needed to fill up water bottles, for people who just kind of wanted a place where they could get away from the no water situation wherever they were and feel a sense of normalcy for a little bit. So I was very, very fortunate.
I think that city and state officials were more concerned in the immediate aftermath with tax revenues that were being lost as a result of the hotels being empty than almost anything else. There was a picture floating around the internet that had Governor Tomblin in it that said, "I couldn't tell you if the water system's safe, but I can tell you that the Greyhound track is open." And I think that is a really nice way to sum up the knee-jerk attitude of our elected leaders in the days immediately following. It wasn't necessarily about the loss of confidence from the citizenry. It was panic at the loss of tax revenues that it was causing by shutting down food service businesses and hotels and other water-intensive industries.
But what we saw from that chemical spill is that when we don't have water, it creates a serious, serious situation, and not one that's just, environmentalists care about it. Everybody cares about it. Citizens care about it. Businesses care about it. It's wildly important to us, and we see it when we realize it when it's gone or when it's not available to us.